We'll close this one out with what I believe is a pretty interesting take. It's at the top of the screen here now for you watching on YouTube. I'll read it aloud, though. It says here from this account is funny, and by no means am I taking it 100% seriously.
Angry Scout Vet.
The name of the account on Twitter or X is Angry Scout Vet.
What's the at though?
Not so Angry Scout.
Okay.
So maybe he's actually a mellow guy.
He might be
Or
just
gal.
angry right now.
He could be potentially just angry at the moment because he changed his actual name. Yeah. He says, quote, I had a player in my DM who was at a D2 school, and he measured for our scouts, and I know they like him. He asked me if he needs to hit the portal and go D1 to be seen, and I assured him we'd be going to his school to see him. He's a star player. If he goes FBS, he might not start.
Bimba, did you tell me this was you? No, I'm playing. Obviously, I understand the question you're about to ask, and I've told people like my friend Bimba Tunkara, Division I reject athlete, who's a stud. You have stuff like that where it's like you do have to start thinking about if you're a D2 star, a D2 all-conference guy, it's like, do I want to go be a potential ST player at a Central Michigan or an ST player at a University of Indiana? Or is it Indiana? Whatever. I think it's IU.
I know what you mean.
Indiana
University. I think it is too,
Yeah.
but that's okay.
Darn.
I get what you're.
But you know what I'm trying to say? I feel like it's a legitimate question that some guys at the top of their level legit need to think about, because you look at I think the Alma transfer, Division III guy, I think he's going to Ball State, Bowling Green. I think
didn't
it's
see
a Mac
that.
guy. Yeah, I think he's from Alma, and it's like that guy definitely was like, I'm a dog D3. What should I do? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it's one of those hard realizations sometimes that you have to have with yourself, because like, you look at me and where it's like, I'm leaving 4 years of friends, memories, and whatever. It's like, you got to do what's best for you at the end of the day. And I think when it comes to this, it's very, very difficult, because sometimes it's like, I am taking a risk at not being the guy at my school.
Almost guaranteed not to happen.
Yeah.
Right?
I think very rarely. Like, look at the
Connor Neer is a great example, the linebacker from
I
Ferris
was
State.
just about to say
Were
that.
you?
Yeah.
And we had him on the show when he had committed to going over to Oklahoma. And Connor, at least last that I knew,
Boomer.
I haven't been in touch with him very much, but last I knew he was back in the portal.
Yes.
And trying to find a new home, and Oklahoma must have just not been the greatest
Yeah.
fit for
And
him.
I'm sure, you look at Ferris State, and they're a bunch of great athletes and a bunch of great football players. Obviously, when a guy from Ferris State hits the portal and you're like, oh, he's going to Oklahoma, who, if you look at any college football Instagram or anything like that, it's like top 5. They always have the blue bloods. You're looking at Oklahoma and you're being like, that's a top 5 blue blood. In college football, obviously they're not blue, but whatever. And it's like, oh, that makes you're like, oh, shit.
It's crazy.
Yeah, so I wondered how that all went down. And I wonder how, I haven't done any research, but Isaac Tesla, we played against him. He was at Hillsdale.
Yep.
He ended up going to
Arizona, I believe, correct?
I
believe he was with the
know.
Razorbacks.
Arkansas.
Or not Arizona. Why did I just mix those up? You're right. I got the name of the mascot right.
Yeah.
It was Arkansas.
But I wonder
100%.
how that was. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. And you see stuff where it's like often it's the other way, where it's like, something went wrong at a Division I program. He's at Michigan, all of a sudden he's at Grand Valley.
Yep.
Or all of a sudden he was at Michigan State and now he's at whatever. And so I think it's very, the opposite end is very interesting.
It is. And this situation here, if it was real, again, I don't know this guy. I don't know if he's tweeting legit, but he says the kid agreed to stay put. Once you are on our radar, it makes no sense to move up. I would even add that, unless a player has 2 years, it's not worth it. Many who move up are used as depth and need time to adjust to the speed of the D1 level. Last thing you need is 5 to 6 games to adjust.
Yeah.
That I think is actually a really good point and a great perspective of that. When you move up, I don't care if you're playing for Ferris or Harding or whoever the hell, Mines, GV, whatever it is, Pittsburgh State.
Yeah.
You're going to move up to the Division I level. There is going to be a change of pace. I don't know if you care if you're going, again, FCS, FBS, Group of 5, Power 5. There are going to be big changes of speed. And, we've talked even on this show about a couple linemen from the D3 level. One was from Muhlenberg, and I'm blanking out where the other one went, but it was like UCLA and over at, I'm blanking on the other big-time school.
Cal, Stanford. Is it California?
Somewhere over there. But UCLA was the one. I can't forget where the other guy went. But like big-time Division I transfers, that adjustment period for those guys is going to be interesting. But the obvious benefit of going to play Division I is getting the film and getting the tape. And if you're able to have that production to the same, if not maybe a little bit lower level, now you are setting yourself up for a lot of success and getting more eyes on you for the next level. Take Tyshawn, for example, running back here at Northern. He thought maybe only had one, but he ends up having 2 years left, goes to play at Youngstown, splits carries a little bit this year, but was still tearing up the
splitting carries, still getting 150 yards a game.
Yeah, exactly. Something insane. But I blanket on the Penguins conference there, but whatever it is, performed very well. And now he's going to come back for a second year, and he's going to be the feature back for them, putting up incredible numbers against Division I playoff caliber competition. They made it a couple rounds into the playoffs. I believe lost to Nova maybe in the second round, but that's a great example of someone who is setting himself up much better because of that move.
I think there's multiple people the guy talked about. As far as I think this is kind of going into like, oh, if I want to make it to the NFL or I want to get interest from NFL teams or whatever, you know, you look at some of the guys that have come into the NFL that weren't Division I All-Stars, right? I mean, it's like the first guy I always think of is Pierre Garçon.
Okay.
He was a Division III guy, played for the Colts.
Yeah.
It's like he ended up playing for the Redskins, now Commanders, with RG3 and was like the top guy, and it's like a D3 product. You look at Cooper Kupp, he didn't go Division I like FBS. He was at, I think it's like Eastern Washington.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like that guy, obviously everyone knows who that guy is. He wasn't at Michigan. He wasn't at Alabama.
Adam Thielen.
That's Adam Thielen.
Adam Thielen's a great one. Oh my gosh, why I'm really gonna hate myself for blanking now. Running back for the Chargers.
Eckler.
Austin Eckler.
Now the Commanders.
Yeah. Sorry.
Fall off.
Sorry. But Eckler was the guy.
Yeah.
Was over in the RMAC with Western Colorado. Tyreek Hill spent some time at West Alabama. Like, you go down the list. Like, there's
and I think it goes to the whole mindset of, if you look at guys and they're in the weight room, they're getting agility, they're making plays on the field. They have the numbers,
right? Because they're checking those boxes. We talk about that when we go over all the pro, like, comparisons of things we do on the show.
Yeah.
As long as you check those boxes when it comes to the numbers and things, and then you can let the tape kind of speak for itself.
It just allows,
you just have to check the boxes. That's all you have to do.
Yeah, it just allows you take care of yourself, and you might not get drafted. There's a realistic chance that you're probably not going to.
Very.
But here's a realistic chance too. You get signed by a pro level team. And what was the guy from Caleb Murphy, right? That was the guy from I don't know how he ended
broke
up.
the NCAA sack record and then goes undrafted.
Yeah, and
he stuck around though, still with the Titans.
Okay, still with them. What do you think?
Was in their sketch video.
What do you think? Was he really?
He was.
That's trend's getting old. I saw Will Levis do it too. That made me cringe.
But yes, Caleb Murphy was in the Titans little sketch video.
But like, what's that guy thinking? He's thinking, you know what? Doesn't matter if I'm going to get drafted. I know I can ball.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna go play.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like guys who are like that at the Division II, Division III, like Tyshawn, he is technically, yes, Division I. But that non-FBS level is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You go to that school, you ball out. Yes, you might have other opportunities. But if you say, you know what? I'm going to get my degree. Because I feel like that's a lot of Division II guys' things where it's like, especially when you look at people who are halfway through their senior year, it's like, I have one semester to get that degree. You could get hurt, and all of a sudden the credits are weird, and you got to pay more and all that stuff. So I think that's a big part. And just like Division II level, we've talked about this. There's so much more. It's like, obviously it's football. You're there to play football. Mm-hmm. But like, I feel like the camaraderie and the less like, it's less, you're with your boys. You know what I mean? I feel like that means a lot.
Yeah.
Versus as Division I
to different
level,
people, right? It might mean different people.
Division I level, you go to Alabama, it's like, I'm getting to the league.
Yeah.
I don't care about these people.
Potentially, yeah. I mean,
I'm not saying every.
I know.
I'm sure Jalen Hurts still has some friends from Alabama.
Yeah. But I get what you mean. Dudes have different motives and different things that keep them going. And I think I'll bring it back to another great point. You talk about Tyshawn obviously a lot because like we know him. I'm close with
story.
him. And, yeah, absolutely. And he's an example of a guy that I think did everything he could at Northern. Right? He had those accolades. He did all those things on a team that, again, the year following didn't win a game. And so now you're talking about a guy who moves on from a program that is really struggling and goes to a team that is now playing in the playoffs at the Division I level. That's something to be aware of. Now, if you're transferring out of Harding, Ferris State, again, that list of teams that I went back earlier,
yes.
Now you're potentially sacrificing, just more, every extra game you have when it comes to the playoffs is more film and more chances for you to put on tape what kind of player you are, and so you can be evaluated critically by NFL or whatever professional football scouts. You're getting those opportunities at this level, and you're getting them against better competition. So if you're at one of those squads, hey, there's a really good chance we're making it to the playoffs this year, and I'll be damned, like we could really make a run and go all the way.
Yeah.
Now you're talking about missing out on a lot of really good chances to get more film against a really quality competition at this level, and any scout who's worth the shit knows that.
Yep.
So now having that experience versus just having the label of being on Division I, are we biased because our name is D1 fucking rejects? But you think that's more valuable of having all those different plays and opportunities to show yourself?
Yeah, I think that it definitely, like you said, it all is circumstantial. I know a lot of guys, similar to Tyshawn. I'm obviously very close with Bimba, and there are a lot of guys that do hit the portal. They like to see what's out there for them, and then ultimately deciding to come back, knowing that I might not like what I got out there, and I know if I do my part here, and try to win more games and try to get a crack at the playoffs, stuff like that, that they know that they have those same opportunities if they would have went somewhere else, because they could potentially be playing more games or whatever. Because this guy's talking about the FBS level. If you're at a Grand Valley State, and let's just say you're the All-American quarterback at Grand Valley State, and struggling Division I Big Ten team. I don't know who's struggling, but Nebraska calls.
There you go.
You might not win the job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, hey, my last year at Nebraska, I got to play, and the place got, what's their big thing? Like, it got sold out, but we lost to Michigan by 40. You know what I mean? It's like, you know what I mean? It's just like you have a different college experience. Now your career path has drastically changed, because if you would have had another year at Grand Valley, like look at what was his name?
Peterson?
No, Carson Wentz. He was at North Dakota State before they were Division I.
Yes.
They're D1 FCS.
They're FCS. Yeah, they're not. Yeah, they're D1.
He was a number 2 overall pick. You know what I mean? Like, I know it's
Trey Lance,
another one.
Yeah.
And there was another quarterback. Oh, Jimmy Garoppolo, Eastern Illinois.
There you go. Yeah,
that's not Division I FBS. So
yeah, they are. They're in the no.
I think they're FCS.
I have to look back.
At least
isn't that Romo? Isn't that Romo too?
Yeah, back in the day though. So it's got to be different.
So are they MAC now? I'm gonna check.
I don't know. Don't think so. But regardless, because I know back in the day when Tony Romo was there and stuff, they weren't.
Oh no, they're Ohio Valley.
Okay,
yeah, they're FCS.
You got 2 quarterbacks that have gone to the NFL, have won playoff games as quarterbacks. It's like they had their opportunities to. I mean, granted, the portal was not
way different.
It is now.
Yeah, way different.
But I'm sure a struggling Big Ten team would have been like, "Hey, you got that Tony Romo kid down in Eastern Illinois? Let me get him a call."
Yeah,
stuff like that.
Yeah, the same shit was happening. It just wasn't happening on the up and up.
Yeah, it was just what's the bad website that everyone goes on?
That could go a lot of different ways to answer that question.
Pause.
What did he say?
That was actually really good. The dark web. Hey, Tony, what are you up to?
I've been waiting to use that for so long.
That's the bad website everyone goes on.
Oh, it's great. But no, it's a very valid point, and we'll close out the episode on that. That's absolutely making the cut. Because
I know that's not who I think it is.
If anyone's made it a freaking hour into the episode, then you've been rewarded for that soundbite. But it's obviously a decision that's going to be made for different reasons by everyone who kind of goes through that process, and we've seen it. With, like I prefaced it earlier, we've seen people have had success with both of those options. So a lot of interesting things moving forward.
Thank you, Angry Scout Vet.
Thank you.
Probably has nothing to do with a scout.
Angry Scout.
It's probably someone's burner account. It's probably like Adam Schefter. He's just chilling at the ESPN office.
Definitely not Adam Schefter. He would have a typo or two.
Followed by
over X years as scout in the NFL.
What's X? Over Twitter years as scout in the NFL.
Living rent-free in the heads of those bad apples in our league.
You might not speak to me
at events. You might speak to me at events and not know. Yeah, he's capping. He's not real. Yeah. Either way, good point, though. I love it. Sweet. That's it for this episode of D1 Rejects. Thank you for joining me, fella.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's always great being back, and it's great to be a tourist every once in a while.
That's so you wanted to get that in there and finish that out.
What did he say?
Bad websites.